This is Mulu Gabru. She and her 2 children have been sheltered at the Inda'atan Center for IDPs since before the start of the war. Mulu and her family were victims of the large-scale displacement of Tigrayans in 2018. Mulu and her children were displaced from Gambela, where she owned a small restaurant in an area called Gondar Safar, and her husband worked as a driver for an NGO. She says she left when armed men started to attack Tigrayans.
Since 2016, there used to be clashes in the area. Many Tigrayan were assaulted because of their identity and investors as well, including me and my family. I used to own a restaurant there, and sometimes people would come in, eat food, and go without paying simply because I was Tigrayan.
Mulu says her husband decided to leave when the violence started to intensify. She says he was beaten and harassed continuously.
My husband was a driver for an NGO named RRC. He used to work all day. He used to worry me a lot when he comes home late. He once told me that they had beaten him. He also said that they used to swear at him. That's when my husband decided that we needed to leave. We knew no one would be held accountable if something happened to us there, and you can't even respond when someone swears at you. So my husband left then. I was 2 months pregnant at that time.
She says she left months later when the violence became unbearable, leaving all her belongings. She first went to Addis Ababa to try and get treatment for her daughter Yabsra, who suffers from a congenital anomaly.
I noticed that she may had an illness at around 9 months old, so I took her to the hospital. The doctors told me to give her fish oil, so that's what I did, but she still didn't start walking or sitting on her own. Around 2018, I came to Addis Ababa and took her to Tukuran Hospital. They ordered an MRI, but I couldn't find a machine, so they referred me to Aider Hospital, and I came here. I went back and forth for a month and got her treatment, and they recommended physiotherapy.
But Mulu says she's been forced to discontinue the physiotherapy because she can't afford very basic necessities.
You need cleanliness. When the doctor works with you, you need soap and diapers. The doctors can only work where you can arrange for these things. My daughter also needs food so she can do all the exercises. But I don't have any of this, and it was tiring to carry her to Aider, so I started doing the exercises here. I tried to do all the exercises the doctors showed me.
Mulu says she recently started to grow vegetables at the IDP camp so her and her children could have something to eat while there's no food aid. But she says it's been hard to focus on her work while knowing that her daughter is back at the shelter alone.
I started growing vegetables here. I put my daughter to sleep when I'm working. I don't have any time to rest. I go to the market to sell my products, but even when I'm at the market, my mind is at home with my daughter.
Bethlehem Tesfai is a public health officer that works at Madut, a charity organization near the IDP camp where Mulu and her children are sheltered. Bethlehem and her organization have been providing medical service to Inda'atan IDP Center. She says despite the many challenges Mulu is facing, she is working hard to provide for her and her family, and that women like Mulu need to be encouraged.
She started growing vegetable in the garden so her and her children could have food. This really needs to be encouraged.
The 2.2 million IDPs in Tigray have been one of the most greatly affected by the ongoing siege that has blocked all food aid and discontinued basic services.